The courtroom door felt heavier than it had any right to. I pushed it open, wearing my only good suit, the one I'd bought for job interviews 3 years ago. My parents, Linda and Robert Carter, were seated in the front row. My brother, Matthew Carter, beside them, all dressed in designer clothes I could never afford. Mom spotted me first. She leaned toward Dad and whispered something. He rolled his eyes, the kind of look that made it clear I was more of a nuisance than a family member. Their lawyer, Richard Steele, shuffled papers with a confident air, the kind that comes with the $500 an hour retainer. The judge hadn't arrived yet. Did they really think I would just hand it over, sign away everything Grandpa Henry Carter left me without a fight? I placed my briefcase on the defendant's table. Inside were 3 folders, tabs color-coded, filled with everything they couldn't even imagine I had. Before we go any further, drop a comment. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there? And if you've ever been underestimated by your own family, hit like. Subscribe too. This story only gets wilder. The bailiff called, "All rise!" The judge entered, and I was ready. To understand how it came to this, you need the backstory. I was never the favorite. My brother was the golden child. New car for his 16th birthday, college paid in full, down payment on his first condo. Whatever he wanted, Mom and Dad provided. Me? I worked nights at a grocery store to pay for community college. I transferred to a state school on loans and lived in a basement apartment in Oak Ridge Apartments with 3 roommates and mice in the walls. I wasn't bitter. I just learned early that I had to rely on myself. But Grandpa Henry saw me. He was the one who attended my associate's degree ceremony when no one else did. He took me to lunch every other Sunday, asked about my classes. "You're the one who will make something of yourself," he told me once. "Your brother's got charm. You've got grit. Grit lasts longer." Grandpa also taught me to keep records. He said, "Save everything," he said. "Letters, receipts, emails, you never know when proof will matter." At the time, I thought he was just old-fashioned. I didn't realize he was preparing me for this moment. When Grandpa passed, the lawyer read the will. My brother got the house, Mom and Dad received the investment accounts, and I got the education fund. It didn't sound like much until the lawyer explained that Grandpa had set it up 20 years ago, and it had been compounding ever since. My share was worth $1.2 million, more than the house and investments combined. Mom went pale. That's when everything changed. 2 weeks later, she called. "We need to talk as a family. Come to the house Saturday." I should have known better. When I arrived, the whole family was there. Mom, Dad, Matthew, and a man in a gray suit I didn't know. "This is Richard," Mom said. "Our attorney." I sat down. The air felt wrong. Richard slid a document across the table. "We've drafted a family harmony agreement for everyone's benefit." I scanned it. They wanted me to transfer my trust share into a family-managed account. They'd oversee it, invest it responsibly, and give me $2,000 a month from my own money. "Mom, you've never been good with money, sweetheart. We're trying to protect you. This sum could ruin you if you're impulsive." Matthew leaned in. "Don't be selfish. This is about keeping Grandpa's legacy intact." I looked at the document, then at Richard. Dad's expression hardened. "Then we'll do this the hard way." Richard added, "We can petition the probate court, maybe even request a conservatorship. It would be unfortunate, expensive, and embarrassing for you. You have 72 hours to decide." I stood, picked up the unsigned agreement, and walked out. I had 72 hours before they could file. I didn't waste a second. 3 days later, a process server knocked on my apartment door. I signed for an envelope containing a 14-page petition. They were asking the court to declare me financially incompetent and to appoint Mom as conservator. The allegations were vicious: reckless spending, poor judgment, inability to manage complex matters, all lies. Yet they were notarized and filed. My court date was set in 3 weeks. That afternoon, my boss, Karen Simmons, called me in. She slid a printout across her desk, a public record search showing my name and the petition. Is something going on we should know about? It's a family dispute, I said. It's not true. She looked uncomfortable. We'll need to place you on temporary administrative leave until it's resolved. I walked out in a fog. That night, my best friend called. Just give them half, she said. You'll still have $600,000, more than most people ever see. I thought about it. Maybe she was right. But then I opened Grandpa's binder. Page 12, Section 7, subsection D. My hands shook for a completely different reason this time. It was a forfeiture clause. Any beneficiary who tried to deprive another of their share would lose everything. In the margin, Grandpa's handwriting. Keep this safe, kiddo. Trust but verify. I called Jake, my undergrad study group partner, who had just passed the bar 3 months ago. He confirmed it was enforceable. I drafted a certified letter to my parents, my brother, and Richard. 48 hours to withdraw their petition or lose everything. I sent it at 6 a.m. The deadline passed. They didn't back down. They doubled down. Richard filed an amended petition claiming undue influence and that I had manipulated Grandpa. They even attached a fraudulent affidavit from a doctor. Matthew posted a photo of Grandpa smiling at a Christmas 10 years ago, captioned, "Protecting his true wishes from those who would twist them. Family is forever." The next 2 days, my phone didn't stop buzzing. HR called again, extending my leave indefinitely. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Then I compared the trust amendment my parents submitted with my original one. The dates didn't match. The notary seals didn't match. The paper was manufactured 3 years after the alleged signing date. It was a forgery. They hadn't just tried to steal from me. They had committed fraud. I dug deeper. Public records revealed Matthew's startup, Bright Path Innovations, had defaulted on $340,000 in unpaid vendors. My parents faced a $485,000 foreclosure. Their combined trust shares, $670,000. My share, $1.2 million. They weren't evil. They were desperate. They thought dragging me down would save them. I knew what I had to do. I drafted a counterpetition for breach of fiduciary duty, fraud, and enforcement of the forfeiture clause. I filed a motion to freeze all trust distributions pending the hearing. I double-checked every citation, every word. At 11:43 p.m., I submitted it electronically. Attorney of record? My name, Esquire. The night before the hearing, I didn't sleep. I went through every argument, every piece of evidence. At 5 a.m., I was dressed and ready. Briefcase packed with 3 folders, perfectly organized. The courtroom door felt heavy again. Mom, Dad, Matthew, and Richard were all in the front row. I set my folders down. Bailiff called, "All rise!" The judge entered. An older woman with sharp eyes. This is a petition for conservatorship filed by Linda and Robert Carter. The respondent is their daughter. Are you represented by counsel or appearing on your own behalf? I stood. Your Honor, I am counsel of record. I was admitted to the bar in January of this year. The courtroom went silent. Richard's face drained. Mom's mouth opened. Matthew froze. I opened the first folder. Your Honor, I present 3 exhibits. First, Section 7, subsection D of the trust, the forfeiture clause. I handed it to the clerk, who passed it to the judge. She read it and looked at Richard. "Were you aware of this provision?" she asked. Richard stammered. "Your Honor, we were recently made aware." I opened the second folder. Second, the trust amendment submitted by the petitioners claiming unified asset management, and I projected it overhead. Third, The notary affidavit and forensic document analysis, I laid them side by side. The amendment was a forgery. Different notary, trace signature, paper manufactured in 2022. The judge leaned forward and examined the report. Do your clients have an explanation? Silence. I am dismissing the petition with prejudice, she said. The forfeiture clause is enforceable and will be enforced. Petitioners forfeit their shares. I am also imposing sanctions of $15,000 for filing a fraudulent document. This case will be referred to the district attorney for review. The gavel came down. I packed my briefcase and left, not looking back. 30 days later, the forfeiture clause was enforced. My parents lost the investment accounts. Matthew lost the house. And the assets went to the secondary beneficiaries, Grandpa Henry's scholarship fund for first-generation college students. Matthew filed for bankruptcy 2 months later and now manages a retail store in the next town. My parents sold their home and moved into a 2-bedroom apartment. The district attorney declined to press charges, but they agreed to cover court costs. I used $400,000 to create a scholarship in Grandpa's name and the rest to pay off my loans and buy a small condo. I started a solo law practice, Carter Legal Solutions, helping families with estate disputes. I set boundaries with my family. Low contact, supervised, no holidays, no spontaneous visits. 6 months later, Mom emailed, "I'm sorry things got so complicated. I hope you're doing well." No accountability, no real apology. I wrote back, "Thank you. I wish you the best." Dad never reached out. Matthew called once about coffee. I said no, maybe one day, but not yet. Every morning I see Grandpa's picture on my desk. I don't see the courtroom battles anymore. I see the man who believed in me, the man who taught me that love without respect is just control in disguise. I kept the receipts like he taught me, and I won. Not out of revenge, but to take back my life. Here's my question for you. Would you forgive completely or set firm boundaries like I did? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every one. And remember, always keep your receipts. This story is a dramatized, fictionalized version based on real experiences. It is not legal or financial advice. If you face a similar situation, consult a licensed professional in your area.